Good morning, I'm Clinton Griffiths. Corn and soybeans moved in opposite directions to end last week, with corn sinking and soybeans soaring as the markets tried to digest USDA's June acreage report. The agency now calling for 94.1 million acres of corn. That's up 6% or 5.52 million acres from last year, much higher than it predicted back in March and way above what the trade predicted. If it holds true, it represents the third highest planted acreage in the U.S. since 1944. Now for soybeans, it's estimated farmers planted 83.5 million acres. That's down 5% from last year and way below what it thought would be planted in March and what the market predicted. While wheat, it's estimated up 9%, closer to that March prediction. Cotton coming in at 11.1 million acres, down 19% and a little lower than first thought. Another key crop to point out here is sorghum, with USDA calling for almost 1 million more acres than it did back in March. As we said, the news was big time bullish for soybeans to end last week, with several contracts climbing more than 80 cents at one point. AgDay's Michelle Rook joins us. And Michelle, some traders were scratching their heads over those corn and soybean acreage numbers.
Yeah, that's right, Clinton. The USDA reports provided a bullish surprise for soybeans, with acreage down 4 million from the March prospective plantings report and last year, while corn acreage was bearish, coming in over 2 million higher than March, but over 5.5 million over last year. So where did those shifts come from? The USDA data indicated farmers across most of the U.S. planted more corn at the expense of beans, with the big percentage gains coming in the South, but the biggest total acreage gains were in the North and I states versus a year ago.
North Dakota looks like they're about 1 million acres more than last year at this time frame, picking up about 500,000 each in Minnesota as well as South Dakota. There's still some bean acres that are unplanted out there yet, so we'll have to see how that kind of shakes out. I think that came into play a little bit as well. But at least at this time frame, it just feels like the northern tier picked up the bulk of those acres. But we saw gains as well as in the key I states too, you know, with acres being gained in both Iowa and Illinois for corn planting this year.
Compared to the March prospective plantings report, corn acreage was up 500,000 in Illinois, while soybean acres dropped 800,000. In Iowa, corn acres were up 300,000, with beans down 400,000. But Missouri was also down 400,000 on beans, and North Dakota down 900,000. Heinberg says the open weather for planting pushed more corn in the central and eastern corn belt, and in the north, when the weather finally broke, farmers just barreled through on corn.
So again, it just feels like they pushed that corn crop in the ground. You know, we always kind of say guys like planting corn, and the weather was really pretty good in that window. If you think about it overall, that corn planter just kept right on a rolling.
All wheat acres were down around 300,000 from the March intentions, with winter wheat acreage down 500,000 from March, likely due to abandonment, but it was offset by higher other spring wheat acres at 11.1 million. I'm Michelle Rook reporting for Ag Day.
All right, thanks, Michelle. Meanwhile, USDA also releasing its quarterly grain stocks report. Corn stocks in June were 4.11 billion bushels. That's down 6% compared to a year ago. Soybeans totaling 796 million bushels, 18% below a year ago, while wheat stocks, they totaled 580 million bushels, also well below a year ago. All three were below trade expectations.